Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video there is quite a few things to negotiate about. So I am going to be giving you some more additional information on Dean Henderson. Then I'm going to be giving you some latest news on Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. I have been keeping you up to date of what's been going on with him on a regular basis. I will be doing a video as well later on today, giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference, building up to the Manchester United-Sheffield United game tomorrow, 6 o'clock kickoff. Don't forget I have already done my preview for the game. We will know a bit more of the team news today when Solskjaer has done his press conference and that. So let's start, with the news on Dean Henderson. So according to recent reports, Dean Henderson will only sign a new contract with Manchester United if he is guaranteed to be our number one goalkeeper for next season. Now, Dean Henderson's contract with the club runs until 2022. As you all know, at the moment, Dean Henderson is out on loan with Sheffield United. This has been his second season on loan with Sheffield United. And I have got to make an admission, Dean Henderson has been Sheffield United's player of the season. It's been his second season on loan with Sheffield United, like I mentioned. I think Dean Henderson will be staying with Sheffield United for the remainder of this season. Dean Henderson, of course, has had other loan spells as well. He had loan spells at Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. We did actually, get Dean Henderson in 2011 from Carlisle. We got him at just the age of 14. Now, Solskjaer did say not too long ago that he expects Dean Henderson to become England's number one goalkeeper and Manchester United's number one goalkeeper in the future. He is only young, by the way, is Dean Henderson. We're not going to get rid of Dean Henderson permanently because we do see him as a long-term replacement for David De Gea. So Solskjaer has got a goalkeeping decision to make between David De Gea and Dean Henderson, and there has been reports coming out saying that Man United are considering making Dean Henderson their number one goalkeeper for next season. Because of course, David De Gea is, becoming a liability. He's been a liability in the last couple of years. This is now been David De Gea's 9th season at Manchester United, so he has been a long servant at the football club. David De Gea is now approaching his 10th year at Manchester United because he has been at the football club since 2011. We did get David De Gea from Atletico Madrid for just £17 million. So he has been here since the Alex Ferguson era. Don't forget, David De Gea was criticised in the 1-1 draw with Tottenham on Friday. It was Roy Keane that criticised him. Keane also criticised Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw. He said that David De Gea is overrated. He said Maguire and De Gea should get the taxi back home. And he also said that he's sick to death of this goalkeeper. But he has made quite a lot of mistakes in the last couple of years. But David De Gea is still regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Reflecting on, what he's achieved. Because he's won everything domestically at Manchester United. And he has obviously, won individual awards. He's nearly made 400 appearances for us in all competitions. We know for the remainder of this season, though, David De Gea is going to remain our number one goalkeeper. David De Gea is in his late 20s now, I think. Don't forget, last September he signed a new 4-year deal with Manchester United worth around £375,000 a week. So he is the highest paid goalkeeper in the world, and he's the highest paid at the football club. So David De Gea's transfer is inevitable. I think if we sell him, we won't sell him in this summer transfer window. I think, we'll probably sell him sometime next year. If we do sell David De Gea, we'll definitely get more than what we paid for him. I still think we can get maybe around 40, 50, maybe even £60 million for De Gea, I think probably De Gea was worth around £100 million. Obviously, before he started becoming a liability and all of that. That's how much I thought it was, thought it was worth. And when David De Gea, does leave Manchester United, I think, he will go back to Spain because obviously, he began his footballing career in Spain. He's born in Spain. Don't forget in 2015, David De Gea was close to joining Real Madrid. But due to the fax machine, his move to Real Madrid, didn't materialise on deadline day. But Real Madrid, were in for David De Gea for so long. There's some United fans now saying that David De Gea needs to be dropped, for the remainder of this season. But obviously, we can't do that because Henderson's still out on loan with Sheffield United. We have got Sergio Romero, but he's not reliable enough to become our number one goalkeeper. I think Romero's current contract expires with us next year. He plays in the cup games as Sergio Romero. We've obviously got Lee Grant. He's hardly played, since he came in. Joe Pereira, he's out on loan. So there you go. So Dean Henderson will only sign a new contract if he's guaranteed to be our number one goalkeeper for next season and all of that. So we are willing to offer him a new contract and that. So that's the latest news on that anyway. Now let's delve into the news on Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. So reportedly we are willing to take a transfer risk on Jadon Sancho because reportedly we are willing to wait until his value drops. We're willing to wait till his value drops. Because obviously, Dortmund have said that they do want around £100 million for Jadon Sancho. He did actually, say recently that Borussia Dortmund had named their asking price, and it said, they will accept 90 million for Jadon Sancho. And it was actually, Christian Falk, the German football expert, he confirmed this, that Dortmund will accept £90 million. Now, Jadon Sancho tweeted that his head is already with Manchester United. I think, that was one of the main explanations why Jadon Sancho was benched in Borussia Dortmund's 2-0 win against RB Leipzig. I think he was also benched because he was tired and, he wasn't energetic and all of that. So, there you go. Of course, Fabrizio Romano did say not too long ago, and he's a very reliable Italian journalist, and he said that, Sancho will accept an offer from Manchester United. He said, we've not yet put a bid in. He said, we've not started any negotiations with Dortmund, and he said the contract isn't a problem. The stumbling block has been Borussia Dortmund's asking price. There were stories coming out from the Telegraph and that the other week saying that Dortmund do want around 115 million, for Jadon Sancho. But Jadon Sancho, obviously, wants to come to Manchester United. He's already confirmed that. Borussia Dortmund did say that they're convinced that they can keep Sancho. But he's already said, he wants to leave Borussia Dortmund. There were stories coming out the other week saying that Sancho was open to making a return to Manchester City because, we were struggling, to meet Borussia Dortmund's asking price. Don't forget Jadon Sancho is a former Manchester City player. Of course, he endured 2 years at Manchester City. The main explanation why he left Manchester City is because he did not get any first team opportunities. That's why, he left Manchester City. He's still saying that City are in for him and Liverpool and that are in for him. But if he leaves Borussia Dortmund, I think he'll come to Manchester United. But we're willing to bide our time at the moment. We're willing to wait for his valuation to drop, like I mentioned. Lucien Favre, the Borussia Dortmund boss, said not too long ago that, he said Jadon Sancho could still leave Dortmund in the summer transfer window. You had Borussia Dortmund's head of football earlier on this month saying that, Jadon Sancho, will stay at Borussia Dortmund, for next year. So this is, what their head of football had said. Jadon Sancho is our number one priority target. We have been in for him for so long now. And I've outlined, the few reasons why I'd take him at Manchester United is because, he's got a very, very good friendship with Rashford. And he has been in regular contact with Marcus Rashford. and plus he's well proven in the Premier League, and plus he's predominantly a right winger as well. And Man United are in search for a right winger. We are in search for a right winner. Don't forget the other week, Jadon Sancho got fined £8,000 for breaking lockdown rules. And Borussia Dortmund did say regarding that they was losing patience with Jadon Sancho. We have been looking at a few alternatives to Jadon Sancho. Obviously, if we do not sign him. These actually no cheaper solutions than Sancho. Believe it or not, we've been looking at Leon Bailey from Bayer Leverkusen, Ansuman Fati Vieira. We have been looking at him. You already know the news regarding Ansuman Fati Vieira. I'm going to fully disregard him now coming to Manchester United because he's got no intentions of leaving Barcelona. But yeah. But this has been, Jadon Sancho's third season with Borussia Dortmund. Since his arrival in Germany, he has been a revelation. Dortmund got him from next to nothing. They only paid $8 million for him from Manchester City. So Dortmund, are looking to make a huge profit on the player. I think Dortmund have been in the process of trying to extend his contract. Sancho's got a contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022. Borussia Dortmund is the third club in his playing career because, like I said, before he was at Dortmund, he was at City, and before he was at City, he was at Watford, and he was at Watford for several years with Jadon Sancho. Don't forget, we've already made a promise to him as well that we are willing to offer him the number 7 if he comes to Manchester United, because we have got number 7 vacant at the moment, and we have had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. Borussia Dortmund are known as a selling football club because they have let quite a few of their players go to the Premier League in recent years. There's also players that have let go who didn't, go to the Premier League. But I still think, we can get a deal over the line for Jadon Sancho. But it's stories are coming out recently saying that Dortmund will accept £90 million for the player. But maybe if we was to wait until next summer for Jadon Sancho, then maybe we could get him cheaper than 90 or £100 million. He's only at the age of 20. So that's the latest news regarding Sancho. We are willing to wait until his £100 million valuation drops. So Sancho's our number one priority target. Obviously, another one of our priority targets is Jack Grealish. We've been in for Jack Grealish, for quite a while as well. So the news on all of the transfers anyway. The news on Jude Bellingham. We're not going to get Jude Bellingham now because he's decided to join Borussia Dortmund. So that is the latest on all of the transfer news. Manchester United, of course, take on Sheffield United tomorrow, 6 o'clock kickoff. I've already given you my preview, like I said. I've given you some early team news yesterday night. We are rating the news of Tuan Zebe and Phil Jones because they've recently been injured. They missed the 1-1 draw with Tottenham on Friday. Obviously, Tuan Zebe and Phil Jones are not first choice anyway. Like I said, Solskjaer is going to make changes for this game against Sheffield United from the 1-1 draw with Tottenham. I think Solskjaer's probably going to make around 3 or 4 changes. Lindelof, we're also waiting news on him because he limped off towards the end of our 1-1 draw with Tottenham. I think Lindelof will be dropped in this game against Sheffield United, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I think he actually played Bay ahead of Lindelof in this game. Solskjaer has got a decision to make on Lindelof and Eric Bay in that. We know it's been Lindelof and Harry Maguire this season as our first choice centre-halves. Lindelof, could drop out because I thought Lindelof struggled against Tottenham. He struggled. He struggled. He couldn't. When Tottenham were counter-attacking, he was, really, really struggling as well, was Victor Lindelof. And, this has been Victor Lindelof's third season at Manchester United. Obviously, we did pay around £30 million in from Benfica back in 2017, and Lindelof endured a very, very difficult first season. Couldn't find that consistency, but I think last season, this season, a lot of aspects of his game have really, really improved. So waiting news on him anyway. Bay, I think he can become our first choice centre half, but the only element of concern I've got about Eric Bailly is that, he is injury prone. This is now Eric Bailly's fourth season at Manchester United. We did get him under Mourinho, where it was Jose Mourinho's first signing, and we paid around £30 million for him from Villarreal. But since he came back from injury, he's been very, very impressive anyway. Even before the football season got suspended. Solskjaer must start Paul Pogba in this game against Sheffield United, like I mentioned. In reality, he should have really started him against Tottenham, but obviously, he was benched. He was benched against Tottenham, but he came on in the Tottenham game and made a fantastic impact. That was Paul Pogba's first appearance in 176 days for Manchester United. If he starts this game against Sheffield United, that will be like his first start in 265, or is it 266 days, or something like that. I think Solskjaer giving us the main explanation why he didn't start Paul Pogba against Tottenham. But I think he will start in this game against Sheffield United. So he will be starting alongside Bruno Fernandes, for the first time in the Premier League. But it was good to get a glimpse of the Pogba and Bruno Fernandes partnership in the final half, in the Tottenham game for the remaining 30 minutes or something like that. But I think, that partnership is going to work out, between Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes. And like I said to you, I think Bruno Fernandes is key to Paul Pogba's future, because I think if the partnership works out, Paul Pogba, will end up signing a new long-term contract at Manchester United. And he'll end up committing his long-term future with the football club. We know he's going to be staying here for the remainder of this season. He's probably going to be staying here next season as well. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's got a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. Paul Pogba is one of our highest paid players, and obviously, he's our most expensive signing, because we did pay £89 million for him. So, yeah. I think Mason Greenwood's got to start this game as well against Sheffield United tomorrow. I'd drop Daniel James and put Mason Greenwood there, definitely. Daniel James wasn't too good against Tottenham. And I think, Solskjaer has been overplaying Daniel James this season. I think Daniel James has played around 38 games in all competitions this season. Don't get me wrong, he's done very, very well for us. We did get him from Swansea last summer for £15 million. So it was a cheap solution. For the vast majority of this season, James has been playing on the right, but he's actually more effective on that left-hand side. But I think, we should start Greenwood against Sheffield United, because I think Greenwood's enjoyed an exceptional season. He's scored around 12 or 13 goals in all competitions this season, but a lot of his appearances this season have come from that substitutes bench. Like I said, I think Fred will probably be dropped in this game against Sheffield United. I don't think he was bad in the Tottenham game. I just think, he won't start this game. I think Fred, by the way, has enjoyed an exceptional season for Man United. I really, really do. He's enjoyed an exceptional season, and he's confounded his critics, Ron. We paid, was it around £50 million for Fred, or just over £50 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk in the summer of 2018. And, Fred was an exceptional player at Shakhtar Donetsk. Fred never really got his opportunities, when we did have Jose Mourinho. So let's just make that admission that. So he's going to make some changes, of course. He's Solskjaer. Like I said as well, Solskjaer has obviously, got decisions to make at Manchester United. Like I've already said, he's got a goalkeeping decision to make. He's obviously, got a decision to make at left back, because you can say we're facing a bit of a dilemma at left back. Obviously, we've got Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams. I think for the remainder of this season, Luke Shaw will remain our first choice left back. But maybe, next season, Brandon Williams, could become our first choice left back, because, he's enjoyed an exceptional season. I think Solskjaer has got to address his midfield as well. I think he knows his first choice midfield trio. I think our first choice midfield trio is Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba and Scott McTominay. But some United fans will say it's Bruno Fernandes, Pogba and Fred. And some will say Bruno Fernandes, Pogba and Nemanja Matic and that. So United fans, have got different verdicts on it. I think probably Solskjaer's got a decision to make as well on Anthony Martial and that, because there's some United fans that are saying Anthony Martial is not now an automatic starter. He's been starting a lot of games this season under Solskjaer. To be fair, he's enjoyed a very, very good season under Solskjaer. Martial had a couple of chances in the 1-1 draw with Tottenham, but, wasn't so good. We know that Martial has been playing in that central role this season, but he actually predominantly plays out wide on the left. That's his predominant position and that. But to be fair, he's done very, very well in that central position. This has been now Martial's 5th season at Manchester United. I think one of the best seasons he enjoyed was his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era and all of that. So there you go. There you go. So Solskjaer has, decisions to make at Manchester United. Also, he's got expectations to exceed for the remainder of this season, and he'll have bigger expectations to exceed for next season as well. I think the expectations he's got to exceed is winning either the FA Cup or the Europa League, because like I mentioned, the FA Cup and the Europa League is two priorities for Manchester United, because that's a chance for us winning 2 trophies under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Let's put into the equation as well, the top 4 is a priority for us. We do want qualification for the Champions League for next season. We do want qualification for the Champions League for next season. So obviously, we can have a competitive summer transfer market, and so, we can generate money. Obviously, it depends on Manchester City's 2-year European ban, because, if they do get it upheld, then, 5th place is a Champions League spot. As it stands at the moment, we are sitting 5 points behind Chelsea. We are sitting 5 points behind Chelsea in that. But I'm still very, very convinced, that we can get that top 4. So if we could finish in the top 4, and if we could win the FA Cup and the Europa League, it would be a fantastic achievement for Solskjaer and Manchester United. Also, would be a memorable first full season for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the club. We should progress to the FA Cup semi-finals, by the way, because we have got Norwich in the quarter-finals. So there you go on that. Some of Sheffield United's team news, don't you, as well? They've got Jack O'Connell out with injury. I don't know if Chris Wilder's provided any news on any of these. They've got John Egan, I think his name is, suspended, because he got sent off in Sheffield United's 3-0 defeat to Newcastle. I think recently Phil Jagielka sustained an injury as well. Don't forget Dean Henderson is not going to be involved in this game for personal reasons. So that's been confirmed. But I think, we're going to beat Sheffield United tomorrow. I really, really do. I've got to make an admission, regarding Sheffield United. They have enjoyed an exceptional season, in the Premier League. They've definitely exceeded expectations, because, no one expected them to be in the position that they're in, Sheffield United. This has been Sheffield United's first time in the Premier League since the 2006-07 season. They're sitting 7th in the league. Chris Wilder, has done a very, very good job with them. I think he's been at Sheffield United since 2016. So this has been Chris Wilder's 4th season now with Sheffield United. Yes, it has. I think, Sheffield United is the 5th club in his managerial career, because before he was at Sheffield United, I think he was at Oxford, Northampton, Halifax, and Alfred Town was Chris Wilder. Obviously, since the season resumed, they haven't done so good, though, because they've lost and drawn. Obviously, they lost to Newcastle 3-0 at the weekend. That was a surprise, by the way. And last week, they drew with Aston Villa 0-0. Sheffield United, though, would have felt as though there was actually robbed in that game, because they had a goal disallowed, and in reality, the goal should have been given, because I think the ball did cross the line. Sheffield United as well, they've got good players of Sheffield United. I think one of their best players is Norwood. I really, really do. I think it's Norwood, one of their best players. They've obviously got McBurney. They've got Jack Rodwell. They've got Phil Jagielka. They've got Lynn Musset, if I've pronounced his name correctly. Lynn Musset. They've got John Fleck as well. So they have got some decent players of Sheffield United. I don't think they're going to get a top 4. Sheffield United, I don't think they're going to get top four. What a fantastic achievement, though, from their perspective it would be, if they did actually, finish in the top four and get qualification for the Champions League for next season, but I don't see that happening. The reverse fixture, like I said, between Man United and Sheffield United was 3-3 earlier on in the season at Bramall Lane. Don't forget we was 2-0 down in that game and we showed good determination to get back into the game. We scored 3 times in 7 minutes, but we did concede late on in that game. And I think we've actually beaten Sheffield United on 44 occasions. Like I said, we've won our last 7 home games against them in all competitions. The last time Sheffield United beat us in the league was back in 1973. So that's a good, 47, 48 years ago now. The last time they beat us overall was in the FA Cup back in 1993. But we need to win this game against Sheffield United, but we've got to win all our remaining games to keep our top 4 hopes alive, definitely in that. We've got 8 games remaining now, and you can say we've got the easiest running out of all the Premier League teams. I think in reality we should win at least 6 of our 8 remaining games. We really, really should in that. But we are sitting 2 points ahead of Sheffield United. So if we was to lose tomorrow, then Sheffield United, would go 1 point above us and all of that. So I've already given you the preview for the game. Later on, I'll be giving my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. It'll be interesting to see what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to say. But like I said, I think he'll get it right tomorrow against Sheffield United. I think he will start Paul Pogba. I'm not too sure what formation he'll go in. Maybe he'll go with the 4-2-3-1 again. He went with the 4-2-3-1 against Tottenham. He's been changing formation persistently this season, but, regularly, he has been going with that 4-2-3-1 formation as Solskjaer. A few times he's gone with a 4-3-3. A few times he's gone with a 5-3-2. A few times he's gone with a 3-4-1-2 and all of that. So he has tried, quite a few different things at the football club, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Like I said as well, for the game, we've got Lingard, Mata and Brandon Williams available because, they wasn't involved in the 1-1 draw with Tottenham. There was unused substitutes. I think Ighalo will be involved in the game because he made an impact when he came on against Tottenham. I said Ighalo's appearances, will be limited now because of Marcus Rashford being back. But there again, some United fans would start Ighalo and drop Anthony Martial, centrally. Matic, he could actually, start the game against Sheffield, but if he doesn't, he definitely, will come off the bench. So, there you go. But, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer approaches the summer transfer window. It really, really is. And Solskjaer, has got big decisions to make in the summer, what players he's going to recommend in. And of course, what players he's going to get rid of. Solskjaer's looking to make 3 or 4 major signings at the end of the season. Because he believes we need around 3 or 4 major signings to become title contenders next season. Because, this has been the 7th season now we have failed to mount any kind of title challenge up. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so the last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season. So it just indicates how inconsistent we have been for the last 7 years. For the last 7 years, we've been playing catch-up with our different managers with different philosophies, because Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. Of course, we've sacked 3 managers, and that was Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. And, we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers because Manchester United are not really known for the sacking football club. Also, too, we spent close to the £1 billion range in the last 7 years on players. And we've recruited over 30-odd players since the Ferguson era. So, in reality, reflect on the money we've spent, we should be in Liverpool's position. We really, really should. So there you go. Not only we spent £1 billion, nearly £1 billion on players, we've also got players on big contracts at the football club. I think we have made a lot of mistakes in the last 7 years as well, and that's one of the main explanations why we have been so inconsistent. Maybe there's players we've brought in over the years, who we shouldn't have brought in, and they haven't been the right calibre players for Man United. Maybe there's some players, on the other hand, who we have brought in who we shouldn't have got rid of, Prime example under Herrera and Romelu Lukaku. You can say maybe we made a mistake by giving Solskjaer the job permanently. Maybe we're giving it a bit too early, but we're giving the job permanently, reflecting on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. Of course, Ferguson made one mistake, and the only mistake he made was obviously never recommending David Moyes in and all of that. So Manchester United have made quite a lot of mistakes. But, we are still willing to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because Ed Woodward did say he's still willing to back Solskjaer. Also, too, the Glazers are willing to back him. I outlined, I outlined the reasons why Solskjaer's still at Manchester United, because what saved his job was definitely the signing of Bruno Fernandes, because he has made a difference in the team. And I think with the wins against the likes of City and Tottenham earlier on in the season, they also saved his job as well. So there you go. Solskjaer's been here at Manchester United now over a year and a half. So he has been here for quite some time. But he does need at least another season, because it is a transition period and all of that. And plus, not every manager does settle in straight away. Let's take into account Jurgen Klopp didn't settle in straight away at Liverpool. Ferguson, don't forget he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Manchester United. And, look what he went and achieved and all of that. So, Solskjaer does need more time at Manchester United. I'm not too sure if he's, the foreseeable future for the football club. Since Solskjaer's coming now, like I said, I've seen improvements and changes in that. Solskjaer so far has recommended 5 good players into the club and spent just over 200 million. He's also, got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended in as well. I heard the other week that our transfer budget's been revealed and Solskjaer's going to be given around 269 or 70 million pounds to spend in the summer transfer window. Well, if that's the case, then we should get the right number of players into the football club, and Solskjaer's already identified the areas in the squad where he does want to strengthen up. Don't forget, he did say the other week that he will avoid buying any rotten apples in the squad, because he warned our players, he will not tolerate any rotten apples in the squad and all of that. So there you go. Like I said, we've been critical of Solskjaer for the vast majority of this season, but there's been a lot of problems at the club for several years, and there's, been cultural problems as well. Being critical of Woodward for several years, and we've also, been critical of the Glazers for several years as well. So there you go. So that's everything to update you today, guys. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.